Oh, mate. Yeah, like, do people actually get upset about the hop emote? Is that real? Is that a real thing?
This place is as gloomy as always.
Use doubles a skill. Oh, that's okay, isn't it? You're making a mountain out of a molehill. Just give him a go, Tick2. Like, what's the worst gonna happen? You lose a flame. Who cares? Give him a crack. See what it's like. Get upset with 6-7. I'm not surprised.
What is this?
Turn back? Whatever.
Yeah, like, Breadstick particularly seemed to take really great offense to it. And I was wondering if I was missing something. Not sure. You might have been joking. I was worried.
This place is as
Hi, little
gloomy
G
as
Money.
always.
Little G Mommy. How are you doing? Sorry, I just saw your message. The last verified Kick account we had in Kick Chat had been compromised. I'm pretty much done, Radias. He's my waifu in Wizardry. I don't have one, really. I don't have pixelated wives. I'm a fucking grown-ass man. Can we make a replacement with Alice and Shelley? Replacement with Alice and Shelley of what? Sorry? Hi, Bongo Bears. What's this game? This game is Wizardry Variants Daphne. It is a old school dungeon crawler game. That is very mean. And you die in a lot. Waifu in Daphne. If I was going to pick someone, to, like, court in Daphne, it would probably be Yakatarina. Like, she is seen a lot, and she seems to be very, very mature and dependable. I'm sure she would have a shit ton of interesting stories to tell. I mean, she's literally a wife. Like, I don't think she would be interested in me because she was married, like, really happily married, and probably still loves her husband, even though her husband's gone. What I mean by that, I guess, like, I would, more than anything, I'd like to just sit down and have a chat with you, Katarina. She seems like an interesting person to have a chat with. An interaction with a woman doesn't have to be romantic, right? What's up with you, Chili? What are you looking all sketchy for? Oh, you're hunting something. Okay. Sit down and talk to Deborah about how much she stole. You have to have a drink with her. She'll drink you under the table. I think elves would be really weird to interact with. They'd be an alien as all fuck. Anna. Anna seems pretty cool. I bet Anna's got some cool stories to tell. Yeah, Anna seems pretty cool. I'm with you. You pay for therapy for Adam. Depends on the setting. In this setting, they do seem a bit stuck up in this setting. Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Onward.
Elves are just human plus, right? We've talked about this before. Elves are human plus in almost every fantasy world. Just humans plus. I hate them.
Onward.
Ugh. Wait, does Etheria have elves? Oh, I suppose it's because they're like the digital forms, right? They can be elves. I don't know. Depends on the setting as to the age of elves. I don't know in Wizardry. Not sure. What's the most unique depiction of an elf? At one point in time, it was Drizzt Do'Urden, but unfortunately, Drizzt Do'Urden has been bastardized to all fuck, and now Drizzt Do'Urden is like the go-to for a lot of especially dark elf or drow concepts. Yeah, once upon a time, the most unique depiction of an elf, when it was written, was Drizzt Do'Urden. You really don't know, Drizzt Do'Urden is a dark elf or drow ranger who rebelled and left the Underdark, formed his own adventuring band, defied the odds of the Underdark. Nowadays, unique depiction of an elf. I can't think of one. Most elves are very samey for me. I can't think of an elf in media that I would say, like, this is a new take on elves. Yeah, it genuinely is a little bit like that whenever elves are used nowadays. Like male or female or anything else. Like, they're just hot humans that live longer, are usually a bit stuck up, are exceptionally good at everything they do, and are usually maybe a little bit naive or sheltered, and that's like kind of it. Like I think Frieren did it okay. They definitely played on the whole. To a lot of people, that was people's first contact with the idea, contact with the idea of like elves living so long that they outlived their adventuring friends. But that is something that's been touched on in fantasy lore for quite a long time. I do think Frieren did a pretty good job with Frieren. But I don't think it was anything particularly like new or innovative. It was still the same kind of elf. It was just shown in a way that not a lot of people had considered before. With the whole like aging thing. Yeah, it's pretty standard elf lore, but for a lot of people it was the first time they come into contact with that part of elf lore. So while I don't think it was super innovative, I do think it was done quite well, and I do respect that the work that they put into like putting together Frieren. So I'm not shitting on it in any way. I actually really love Frieren. I really love the show, but I don't think it was a particularly innovative showing of elves. Man, I'm really struggling here. I can't think of anything. I genuinely can't think of anything. Every fucking elf is always the same. Maybe this is why I dislike elves as a race so much. I don't know what you can do. I think that's the problem. Now, like Warcraft 3 elves were just like night elves were just like somewhere between dark elves and high elves. They just kind of mixed them up a little bit. They did an okay, and wild elves as well. They kind of mixed together the elf flavors into one, because that's the other type of elf that gets sometimes used is like the wild elf, where they are more in tune with nature and they're more feral. And night elves are kind of in between a high elf and a wild elf, and kind of a dark elf as well. They just kind of merge together, the elves. EverQuest has that with the wood elves as well. Like wood elves, wild elves, they're kind of similar things. Over like decades of elves, I can't actually pick out anything. Yeah. I think, well, elves have just kind of been solved. I think that's the problem. There isn't a way to showcase elves that's different. I've also seen, I've seen elves portrayed as aliens. Like where they are extremely alien. But even that is not a new concept. That was something that was early D&D. The idea that elves were like practically an alien race. Like they didn't understand humans because they're not human. They're not even maybe from the planet that they came to. That was like very early Forgotten Realms lore. That elves were in fact perhaps not even of the planet itself, that they came from somewhere else. So that's kind of cool to see, but I haven't seen that done in a very long time. The idea that elves are like not even from the world, that they are some kind of alien species. Yeah, like that's where Games Workshop took the inspiration for Eldar from earlier D&D Forgotten Realms settings. Yeah, so Spock, yeah, genuinely, Lars, Spock is like an elf. And Star Trek, what's he called? Gene Roddenberry, is it? Took massive inspiration for the Vulcan race. They're basically space elves. That's what they were always intended to be. They're basically space elves. And they took the other part of space elves and made them into Romulans. He actually got 2 birds with 1 stone out of elves for alien races. Romulans are like basically dark elves. So elves are the backbone. Elves are the backbone of so much fantasy. They really are, like, and we see them in everything. And I think that's just why I don't see much interest in elves anymore, because they're just solved. They're just solved. You can't really do elves anymore. They're just elves. So if anyone sees an interesting depiction of elves, let me know. Something that's like really against the grain. Please let me know. I'd love to have a little look at it. I'd really love to have a little look at it. Discworld elves. Yeah, I forgot about Discworld elves. Discworld elves are, I guess, Harry Potter elves. Harry Potter elves are more like fairies or sprites, really, aren't they? Or gnomes. Probably closer to gnomes than actually elves. Yeah, they're... Yeah. I don't know about Harry Potter elves. Legolas is the only elf I know that will team up with a dwarf. Interestingly, almost all of that enmity stuff comes from Tolkien, right? Comes from Lord of the Rings. But within the Lord of the Rings history, there are countless examples of the elves and the dwarves working together, like almost constantly, because they're both ancient races with long-standing that are loyal and long-standing traditions. Divinity elves. The problem with divinity elves for me, now I don't know how true this is, but like I do not like divinity lore and like storytelling at all, so I couldn't tell you. I know what divinity elves look like and they do look cool, but I don't actually know how much background and stuff they have behind them. So I'm not sure where it comes from. I've seen Divinity. I've played both the Divinity original Sin games. I've also played the old Divinity games. I really, really, really don't like Larian's storytelling. So I didn't. Nothing really stuck with me. You kicker? Yeah, Bongo. I've been talking to Bongo. I've been talking to Bongo Bears for him. I've been talking to Bongo Bears. I don't know who Bongo Bears is. I don't know if he's one of you guys. I'm not sure. But I always hold out hope. One day I will find a real kick chatter. Yeah, Divinity and Divine Divinity. I've been talking to Bongo Bears. We were talking about Discworld elves. I like Discworld. I really like Rincewind and Discworld and all the Terry Pratchett stuff. I haven't read it all, but I've read bits and pieces of it. And I think it's a very interesting, like, tongue-in-cheek spin on the fantasy genre. I wish it were a bit more popular. I would recommend the books that I've read, like, but I haven't read the whole series. It's a bit too daunting to read the whole thing. I think it has a lot of, like, unique takes because it is a bit tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, it has a lot of, like, whimsical comedy stuff in Divinity. Even in Baldur's Gate 3, like, they do that. Like, if you see me shifting, it's because my cat is pushing against the monitor and has just shifted my monitor, so now it's at, like, a 45-degree angle. Thanks, Chili. Dragon Age elves are fairly standard. But it's more on me. Like, I'm sure that some people out there really like Divinity storytelling. It's just not really for me. I like the games. I think the gameplay's really fun, but even in Baldur's Gate 3, the story just isn't quite it. The way that they tell the story, or rather, isn't quite it. But I'm an odd sort. As Narkai says, I have a lot of odd opinions. Right, folks, sorry. I've stayed on chatting. I should really go. I need to go and eat. I need to go and shower. I need to go and sleep. Thank you all for being here. I love you very much. I will be back tomorrow. Maybe I'll actually do this quest rather than sitting around chatting about elves. I've just spent the last half an hour talking about elves. I'm so sorry to anyone who actually wanted to watch any kind of gameplay. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, thank you for being here. I love you very much. Is there anyone you want to raid? Anyone on Wizardry?
Shall we go out together?
Any? I can't see half my screen right now because Chili's sitting in front of it. Bring our bed. No, don't worry about it, Miyabi. It's not on you. It's not on you, mate. I am in charge of my own words. More about fantasy races. I'd love to talk more about fantasy races. I love talking about anything fantasy based, really. Finchie's on Wuthering Waves. Ugh. Suchi's on CZN. No, I'm drawing a blind. We could raid Nad. You guys want to raid Nad? Nad doesn't really come through here anymore. I don't really talk to Nad, but we could raid Nad if you want to. It's 1063. Oh, 1063 is on Wizardry variants. Yeah. Let's raid 1063. If I ever speak to Nad again, I would be happy to raid Nad. Right, guys. Thank you again. I love you very much. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night. Good luck with whatever you're up to, and I'll be back tomorrow to do some more BONDMATEs, finish off the Stonefolk, and then I'm going to do Admiral Bounty. Thanks, guys. Much love. Have a great night. See you later. Bye-bye.